Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Those who are watching from far away or back in Michigan, Indiana, Pennsylvania, many places where we have our listeners and our watchers. Let me grab my hat here real quick. Welcome to the Lions of the Desert podcast. I'm Shoeshine Mike. We're coming to you live here from the beautiful Detroit Coney Grill, 6953 North Hayden Road, and right south of Indian Bend, the Gateway Shopping Center right there. Known for our home. All right, we got furnished ginger ale, we have Fago Pop, we got all the good stuff that you want right here at Detroit Coney Grill. We also talk the Detroit Lions, Lions of the Desert for Lions fans here in Arizona. There's some really good points to be making up. We got the Minnesota Vikings. We'll be here Sunday morning at 11 o'clock, okay? And please come on down. Have some good Detroit food. The Coney dogs. My favorite, the Cowboy burger. Four beef patties, bacon, cheese, fried pickles. Heaven. On earth, I tell you. On earth. So, and we'll get there. Now, if you want to call up and order ahead of time, go to Detroit Coney Grill, Scottsdale, 480-587-4300. You can call ahead. And if you want to get some food, you can get it right off the bat there. We have some topics to talk about today, and I'm going to go back. I really feel that Tampa Bay game with the Detroit Lions was really important, was really a lot of fun. And the thing was, everybody on the secondary was hurt. Everybody. I mean, Kirby Joseph was out. Brian Branch was on suspension. Bad little boy. Brian Branch was on suspension. J.D. Reed was out because he was hurt. Terrion Arnold was out because he was hurt. I'll have the update on the injury report coming up in just a few moments. But the reason I want to talk about that is because Calvin Shepard has turned into a monster. He has turned into the best defensive coordinator, I think, in the league right now. I think he gets his guys all hopped up and ready and raring to go. It's just a joy to watch. It really, truly is. And to have him out there, you saw the sidelines. If you watched the game at all, and it was Monday Night Football, we had a great time in here watching it. If you watched the game at all, those replacements, these guys were off the street. These guys were flat ass off the street. 2 were on the practice squad, and 3 were called in the week before, sitting on the couch at home. Let me get my line straight. There we go. And it was just a wonderful game to watch because the great Baker Mayfield. Now all of a sudden, remember he was now number 1 on most valuable player on the list, and the Buccaneers were number 1 on the power rankings, what have you, because they were playing some pretty good ball. Then they come to Detroit, Michigan. They lose the game, 34 to 9. They can't keep it together all. Mayfield looks so much like Sam Darnold when we were playing the Vikings last year. Remember, we played the Vikings to get the number 1 spot, number 1 seed, and Sam Darnold was looking around like he didn't know what the hell was going on. And the same is true for Baker Mayfield there. He couldn't collect on his passes. These guys that were standing in, Whiteside, Maltier, they were all just hanging in there and just doing the best they can with what they got. They were doing really, really well. Calvin Shepard, take a bow, because up front, Aiden Hutchinson, who just signed that big contract yesterday, Aiden Hutchinson and Muhammad and Lean McNeil was back and had a great block pass on Baker there. And it was just fun to watch. It was really a fun game. So I just wanted to bring that up just to say, hey, look, this is happening. This is really going to happen now, I think. We're going to see a really, really good Detroit Lions team come in and take it away. Now we got Minnesota Vikings this Sunday. Now they have a hell of an injury list too. I mean, I looked at their injury list. But anyway, they got J.J. McCarthy in there. Now McCarthy went to Michigan, got a national championship. Hasn't really come into the game as he should have. I mean, he's got a terrible O-line right now. They're all injured, they're all hurt, they're all out. And then you got the defensive line, which is not good either. Aiden Hutchinson is going to have a ball. Marcus Davenport DJ Reader, right? Elaine McNeil, Roy Lopez. We got the backups. But then you look at the linebackers. Rodrigo is back, you know, and I can't wait to watch him. I cannot wait for fun. He's just going to be so much fun to watch. But along with the one that's really come up in the world is Jack Campbell. He's pretty much the #1 linebacker in the league right now, leading in every category that there is and moving right along. The Lions are favored by 8.5 points. They'll get the 8.5 points, but I think it's going to be a lot more. I'm calling that game at 35. Maybe they'll get 10 points. I really don't know. I mean, you're going to have Elaine McNeil. Amik Robertson. Once again on Justin Jefferson. And you remember last year, he got 57 yards receiving. He was only two for 16 and 57 yards. He didn't get anything. Now one in the end zone. Meek came over and just blocked that last pass, and that was cracking him down. So the Vikings, we have won our last 5 games against them. Won, of course, by that field goal. You look at the fantasy lineups. Jared Goff is #2 on fantasy right now, behind I think it was Josh Allen. Then you got Jared Goff. Detroit defense #1 against the Vikings. Detroit offense #1 against the Vikings. Amon St. Brown, all the boys. Sam Porta, tight end. Jameson Williams, Amon St. Brown, and Tesla. I like that. Isaac Tesla. The Magic One-Armed Bandit has been doing truly well too. So when we look at it more and more, and I wanted to wait for Dave Nager to come up and join me because I want to talk about one thing with David, and that's that little contract that our boy Hutch signed yesterday, baby. $181 million, $43.5 million, guaranteed.
All right.
Guaranteed, mind you. Have your money, Hayden.
So there's going to come a day where I stop questioning anything and everything that Brad Holmes does.
You can't help but do that. We've
I
had
know.
our misgivings though for years. It
He's
wasn't right.
so much better and smarter than I am.
Oh my.
But my question is, give him this money. Give him all of this money.
Yes.
Well, why didn't we wait till the end of the year? God forbid, maybe one of our players gets hurt, something changes with one of our players. Right now, we absolutely need more help on defense.
Oh yeah. I can see all that.
We need to spend some money and go out there. I love our guys.
We got
I
the
love
trade
the next
now.
man.
All right, the
Kelvin,
trade's not till
Kelvin,
Tuesday.
you did a phenomenal job with
dude.
that defensive back.
What he did.
Phenomenal.
The Legion of whom?
Now,
Whiteside will be in that team forever.
Is that sustainable is my question.
Well, I was just mentioning, I looked at the injury list, all right? Terry Arnold comes back, okay? Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph are back there. Whiteside just might fill in for J.D. Reed,
It could.
and I could see that.
Yeah, Reed is going to come back too. Reed is going to be the first one back.
I think so.
I think so. But my point is even all that, having said all that, Muhammad is still not in uniform.
Okay.
We need another.
Davenport's coming back this week.
Davenport's coming back, and who knows for how long? 1 week, 2 weeks.
But I see Lee McNeil slide right in there for some reason.
But he's not an edge.
No, he's not an edge. But I see him disrupt.
We need an edge. Yeah, he destroyed. He was the difference in that game against Tampa Bay.
No two ways about that.
He destroyed Baker Mayfield.
That block.
He made Baker
block.
Mayfield so uncomfortable. Yeah.
He is the one defensive tackle that had 12 pressures.
Listen, Brad Holmes, you are the man. You are the very best. Just as a Lions fan for all these years, and we're right there, and I don't want to stay right there. I want to get over that freaking hump. Okay? You know, I know 2 years ago was our opportunity. We had the big lead at halftime and everything like that, but this window is still wide open.
This window's this year.
You've
this year
got
is this
to
window.
get it done this year.
Right.
You are
Who's
not
going
to be able to sign every single one of our incredible young talent on that roster.
But look what he has signed so far.
Unbelievable. Phenomenal.
It's
phenomenal.
insane. I have not seen any other team sign the way that
I'm
he's
not
signed.
doubting him, but today is not the day where I
never
will question
seen
it.
another team sign the way he's signed in the last couple of years. All these guys are 4-year contracts, Montgomery 3. All this is going on. It's phenomenal. Who is he going to pick up?
Here's the thing is, you got to get the defensive help this year. That offense and that team is just way too good to have any kind of weak link, and The defense, unfortunately, today, the way it stands, is not a Super Bowl.
I have a
caliber
question for you.
defense.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Everybody knows the Cincinnati Bengals are going nowhere.
No.
Is a trade for Henderson
Absolutely
possible?
not. Absolutely not.
You
Way
know
too
what
much
he
money.
said? Way too much
Way too
money.
much money. Yeah.
All right, same. Oh my God.
No, you have
Max,
the guy.
Max
you got
Crosby.
way
Please,
too much
but-
money.
Oh, way too
Listen,
much.
you got see for.
But
to
there's
get,
some other good ones in
There
there.
is. Now, see, that's just it.
He'll find them.
Let's think of a guy like Jalen Phillips in Miami. Now,
Very
he has
good.
a little bit of a history of being hurt,
no.
but in Miami, he's the number one. He's getting the double teams. He's getting the chips from the running back. He won't get any of that. I told you that, how important that matters. It
That's
matters
right.
a lot. And I'll be honest with you, to put him in a rotation with Muhammad and maybe even Davenport,
Oh, dear
now that's
God.
a phenomenal.
Oh,
You know
God,
what I mean?
it is.
And let Hutch rest, like in the second quarter when we got a little bit of a lead, to come and seal the game in the fourth quarter.
A little point I want to bring up too. If a player like that, say he has his issues, right?
Yes.
He's coming to the Lions.
See, that's just
that
it.
gets rid of the issues.
That's just it.
That
Excuse me
gets
for a
rid of
second.
yeah. You know, we're talking about him, Phillips, right? And we'll talk about the guy that comes to the Lions. He's got a whole team. He's got a whole team watching him. He's got a whole team of people who are leaders in that locker room and would take care of that. I'm going to look that over for Sunday, and I'm just going to start mentioning Sunday because the deadline's Tuesday. Tuesday's the 4th, and that's the deadline for trades. You know, and I'm wondering about that. I just, you know. Yeah, Muhammad with the hammy. And Daniel Thomas broke his arm. It's healing. Greg Reynolds, another hammy. Kirby Joseph hurt his knee, but I think Rodrigo will be back this week. I mean, we got other. I can see Rodrigo helping a lot on that edge. Well, he's got me sitting here thinking about the defense, and I can see Rodrigo helping on that edge. You know, Aleem McNeil's big, and he might not be able to get through that, but Rodrigo can. And I'm going to see some sneaks between Rodrigo and Derek Barnes. I think they're going to pick up the slack. I think you've got a whole lot of slack there that can be picked up this Sunday. But we have to remember, too, we're playing Minnesota Sunday, okay? And we're playing Minnesota Sunday, and they're not good, okay? They're not. They're having a bad time with a lot of things, and it's getting a little crazy with them. So I would sit there and think Rodrigo and Barnes. I could see Rodrigo and Barnes on Rodrigo and Barnes on a rush. I could see that in between the defensive tackles. Say in between. Let's say in between Muhammad and Aleem McNeil, and then in between J.D. Reader or Williams, who's over there, right? And Hutch. Have them right behind him because those two would be fantastic on that. Keep Campbell and Anzalone on the two in the back. That could be pretty cool. I mean, that could be just outstandingly cool. The more I think about that, the more I really, truly like it. Okay, because it's Minnesota, and we should not have a hard time. J.J. McCarthy is not going to be in all the best of health. Last time he played was against Chicago, and that was the second week. I don't think he's back fully. I don't care what O'Connell says. Good coach, what have you. But I don't care what he says because it just doesn't seem like he'd be all that together. I want to check something out here. All right, I want to go to the Lions schedule, and you know I will always try to make it better. Always try to make it better. Okay, let's look at our schedule here. I want to look at the schedule real quick because there's some big things coming up here. That's cheese. All right. So we got the Vikings this Sunday. Next Sunday, an afternoon game with the Redskins. The Sunday after that, Sunday night with the Eagles. Then we got the Giants at home. Then the Packers Thanksgiving. The Cowboys on Prime. The Thursday after that, Lions at the Rams. The Steelers at the Lions. They played kind of tough. They won't Detroit though. They won't beat Detroit. Lions at the Vikings and Lions at the Bears. We have those games left. And of course the Vikings right now, we have to keep our eyes open and watch that, but we're pretty much favored in a lot of these games, and don't let it kid you about the Packers. We're favored 2.5, but the Eagles game I think is going to be huge. So the Vikings, Commanders, the Eagles, the Giants, the Packers on Thanksgiving, the Cowboys, the Rams, the Steelers. So we got some good games coming up. And then some are quite a few at home, to tell you the truth. Um, but as we go through, I keep thinking about that. When David gets back, I want to talk about that. Because Rodrigo has rushed before beautifully. He's had some sacks. And the boys have had some sacks. That would be fun to do. That would be fun to do. So the more and more I look at Minnesota, okay, we're going to win the games. All right, I'll be here Sunday. We'll have the Lions fans here. The food will be flying. We'll be having such a good time. It's scary. We always have Honolulu Blue Shots after the game. And we sing the Lions fight song, okay? So David's coming back after he helps this guy here. Guy runs an incredible restaurant here. We tease and call him the head busboy, but what he does between here, the new Chandler store, is just amazing. All these different things that he does with that. So let's see. I was looking for something. Now I cannot find it. Oh well. Gilbert store. So we'll see, because lately he's been here and he'll spend the first half with me here in the podcast. And then he'll go to Gilbert for the second half, because a lot of Lions fans are down there watching the game. So it's turning into a big thing on both sides. You got Scottsdale and Gilbert. And it turns out to be crazy as shit. So, I'm going to go on saying J.J. McCarthy, but also Minnesota does not. Their players are hurt. Van Ginkel is about the only healthy person on that defensive line. Everybody else is injured, groins, what have you. But when you look at this game, I'm looking also. I was mentioning the fact that now David's back here. I'm going to ask the question I just asked you. You got Rodrigo coming back Sunday. Mm-hmm. You got Derek Barnes as the cornerback. Both are very fast and can get through the line. All right, I can keep Campbell. Right, I can keep Campbell and Anzalone as two linebackers back there, but I would like to sneak between the four defensive tackles, in between each tackle, Derek Barnes and Rodrigo, because they both run through that line fast on a blitz.
You know what?
And Brian Branch coming from this side.
And I'm going to be honest with you, J.J. McCarthy, as much as I love you, your first game back, I feel bad for
you. Oh
him.
no, he's just going to get beat up. He's
By
just
the way, who remembers this old school stuff right here?
Oh good God, crisp and clean and no caffeine. 7-Up.
Remember?
Oh my God, yes. The Uncola. Very good. He's an old man.
You guys know where to get this kind of stuff. Only at Detroit Corner. Show them the Faygo.
Not to mention our Faygo Pop, the Rock and Rye.
Bottles.
Glass bottles. And they're all there. The strawberry pop, the orange. Berner's ginger ale. For those of you with a sore throat. Come on now, get rid of it.
Any kind of sickness. Break your hand, have a Berner's.
There's a big billboard, ladies. This is the truth. It was in Detroit during COVID. It was a big one. We don't worry about COVID. We got Berner's. Because we've always believed, and it is true, it's extremely medicinal. If you got an upset stomach, if you got anything, it cures it. Upset stomach, heartburn, you name it. You try it, it's done. It's all good. Okay? So, I'll have David come up here with me and go through some of these games, because I think it's going to be interesting. The crowds we're going to have here.
Flying down, you have to build the ball at the line of scrimmage to stop Jonathan Taylor. The second part is you have to get pressure on Daniel Jones. You have to use 4 guys to do so because everyone else is covered. When you're deciding, Buda Baker did a great job against the Indianapolis Colts of staying in one spot pre-snap and not allowing Daniel Jones to know what he was going to do once the ball hit his hand.
Okay, we're back. Feel better. So like I said, he'll come back and we'll go through some of these games. When you look at the Lions and the whole city's on fire right now. The whole city's on fire. The Red Wings are doing okay. The Pistons look halfway decent. You got the Lions, but downtown, I can't wait to go. I'm going for Easter for a family reunion up in Lapeer, Michigan, right by Oxford, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get up there and see it on Easter Sunday. I'm going to spend the first day downtown Detroit just wandering, just looking at my city that I grew up in. And back in the day, I'm a little older than a lot of people who are watching this podcast, but I do remember I worked as a mailboy at Hudson's, and it was just one of the greatest one of the best parts of my high school. You were cool in school if you worked at Hudson's. That was a big thing on the Lower East Side. Warren Counter crushed it 7 miles my neighborhood, and it was a lot of fun back then. My sister and I were talking about that the other day. You could get on the bus and we didn't worry about anything. People watched out for you as kids. But it's just different now. So.
Second longest streak in a season over the last 30 years. And we're now joined by Texas A&M quarterback Marcel Reed. Marcel, I know every win is a big one, but this past weekend it was rival LSU. A&M's first victory in Death Valley in 31 years. What did that moment mean to this program?
It meant a lot. It was another step in the right direction, and like you said, obviously we haven't won in Death Valley since we've been in the SEC, so it was definitely a big one for this team. And we're just happy to keep the win streak going. So looking forward to keeping going the rest of the season.
How about the way you guys came? I mean, so dominant in the second half. LSU shut out. Tiger fans leaving early, booing. Brian Kelly fired the next day. That had to feel satisfaction for you guys. Not so much the firing, but how you guys handled your business in the second half, down by 4 at half.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that we were the better team. And I've said it already, but like Coach Otto gave us, one of the speeches that a lot of people always talk about. And
he was
knew that they were still in the game, but they were only in the game because of our mistakes in that first half. So we just knew coming out in the second half, you have to be calm, you have to play out ready football, penalty free, turnover free, and just execute play after play.
How would you describe those halftime speeches from Coach Otto?
They're pretty good. Makes you want to run through a brick wall.
So a lot of yelling, huh?
Sometimes, sometimes you must get the message across and say the right things to us. But, we already know what it is coming out of halftime. We understand what we need to do better and what we need to adjust. But his words just make it a lot more impactful.
You mentioned the word. It's an acronym, MEN, at Texas A&M. Especially with this program, it stands for maximum effort needed. So what does MEN of the 10 mean in your program?
Yeah, for the offense, we have a thing called Men of the 10, and it's something that we live by. The 10 people without the football in their hand on the field during play. So whatever those 10 people are doing should be something that's benefiting the entire team and helping the guy with the ball down the field. So just making an extra play that you can do without the ball in your hand is what we really need. So that's what we've been focusing on the offensive side, and we call it the 10.
I love it. It's complete buy-in from everybody. Who has the most prizes so far this season?
I have to say, probably one of the O-linemen or tight ends. They do a good job shooting down the field, kind of on the block, help us get some extra yards.
I love that. You were recruited by Jimbo Fisher. He gets fired your freshman year, and you can transfer at any time. What was it about?
Oh my God, we're still on. I'm sorry. I thought I paused it. I'm sitting here waiting for David. So let's do this. Well, I'm going to finish it up because he's in some pretty heavy business. Like I said, I was going to go through the games with him. Let's see what I just go ahead and do that. I'm looking here right now. We got the Vikings Sunday. We go to Washington. And that could be pretty interesting. The Commanders, Vikings, Redskins. They have not been doing very, very well themselves. Right now, they're 3-4, and I think it's they got a lot of hard games with the East and the Eagles and everything. I don't see the Commanders as strong. J.D. Daniels has been hurt quite a bit. I don't think it's even going to play this week. I think they've got him off this week. And after that, the game I'm waiting for is a Sunday night game. The Eagles were in Philly. Philly has been beaten. When the Giants beat them, I was in heaven when the Giants beat them. So I was really enjoying that. I go along with the fact that Hurts just hasn't been Hurts. You know what I mean? The Eagles right now, 6-2. They got a big game coming this week. Right? I don't see them as that big of a threat with Detroit. Detroit's got firepower. They can nitpick all they really want. Any complaints you see against Detroit right now, it's nitpicking. Montgomery should get some more carries. Okay, I'm along with that. But when you have a star like Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a rock and roller, who's just number one as far as I'm concerned, Every time he touches the ball, you think the clouds are going to break open, you know. We'll do all that, and then after the Commanders, the Eagles, the New York Giants. We all love Scatterboo because he's an ASU kid. He's a great runner and everything. ESPN right now is getting ready to talk about J.J. McCarthy, and when they said this week he plays against Detroit, it said it like that. So that's pretty interesting to see what J.J. McCarthy, how he's going to do. I don't know. They've got such a good coach in O'Connell. I don't know. And then Spoils with his defense. I don't care what he does with that. Detroit's offense is that good. The offensive line has that really matured. That's really matured. But everybody's going behind Ratliff and Penisville. Just a rock wall going up against them. So yeah, Dave's going to be a minute. I'm going to be a minute. We'll get this back together. All of a sudden, it got very busy in here. I was kind of hoping to be because of us here, but we'll see you in a minute. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Hey, it was good talking to you, buddy.
We'll see you Sunday, Mike.
Oh, you coming back Sunday? Enjoy it down there.
Gotta check out the game.
Yeah. We'll talk about something. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, we'll have a good time. I'm a very boring person just trying to hang out.
See you guys.
Yeah, right.
Dishwasher, but only use it for storage or as a drying rack? Get better results than hand washing with your dishwasher and Cascade Platinum Plus. Your dishwasher does the work for you with temperatures up to 140 degrees. Too hot for hands. Some dishwashers even have a sanitizing cycle. Load pots, pans, and tableware at the bottom with plastic and glassware on top. Cascade Platinum Plus removes visible and invisible residue for virtually spot-free and shiny dishes. Switch to your dishwasher and Cascade Platinum Plus.
So bad.
Okay, all better now. Let's continue with some of these games. Now the big one, the Giants. Okay, Scatterboo, like I said, is hurt, but him and Jackson Dart are really turning into a pair. I don't think Scatterboo's going to be back this year. I think he hurt his knee and it's like pretty bad. We'll see what happens in the future. Then comes Thanksgiving Day and the Green Bay Packers. Okay, payback is insane. The Lions are favored 2.5 points right now. I think it's going to go up by the time we get to Thanksgiving, depending on what we do with, of course, the Vikings and the Redskins and the Eagles and the Giants. You know, we got a few games before Thanksgiving gets here. It's a loaded month. Then we go into December and we have the Cowboys at the Lions. Seriously, there's no way that the Cowboys are going to beat the Lions in Detroit. I just don't see it. They talk about how good it is now. They ended with a tie with the Packers, which was pretty cool. I was rooting for them so bad. It was the one time in my life I was rooting for the Cowboys. You know, anytime anybody's playing Green Bay or Minnesota or Chicago, I'm rooting for the heck out of them. And that'll be good. Then we go see Matthew Stafford in Los Angeles. And that's if he's still there. He's injury prone. There's a lot of injury prone people we're playing against.
Oh my gosh, he found a lever. So that's a lever, right? Yeah, lever.
And start with J.J. McCarthy, who's just coming back of first game since week 2. Okay. And then let's see. Then we got the Commanders. J.D. Daniels has been hurt. We got the Lions and the Eagles. Jalen Hurts has been out. And they have a lot of injuries in their secondary, the Eagles. They've been not doing all that well. They'll be back, though. Then we got the Giants, like I said. Then we got the Packers Thanksgiving. The Cowboys, I just don't know. I really don't know. I mean, Dak has been playing better, but this is a road game, so it's not a home game like with the Packers. You're on the road in Detroit. And the Cowboys know they're in for one. We're still paying them back for that bad call the refs made. And then we go to LA with the Rams. Pittsburgh comes to Detroit, and I have an extreme amount of Steelers fans here in town. They'll all be down here for the Steelers game. All right, and then we have the Lions and Vikings again. We go to Minnesota, same thing, still favored. I just see us sweeping the rest of the division this year. You know, the way we beat the Bears in the second week, 52 something, and we got to go to Chicago, but the Bears are still the Bears. They're just not going to change. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm really tired. We're tired all day. We're going to call this to an end. It was a solid half hour of broadcasting and fun, and I appreciate it. So it's just a precursor to Sunday. The game starts at 11 o'clock. 11:14, and it's in Ford Field. It's the Lions, it's the Vikings. It will be fun. The place will be packed, and we're at 11 o'clock because of the time changes Saturday night. All right, they switch over, so we're no longer on Pacific time as far as national things go. Like, you know, the phone, we're on California time for the phone, and for games usually start at 10. Well, now we'll start at 11 because of the time change. We're 2 hours back in Detroit instead of 3. So that will all be good. That will all be fine. Please join us Sunday, and let's have a good time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.